Welcome back to our Eco Island Park in Planet Zoo, where in the last episode we welcomed the gorgeous Amur leopards to their new indoor and outdoor habitat, complete with an educational seating area and restaurant. And get ready to meet our new additions, the beautiful and endangered Przewalski's horses. We're building them an awesome tropical, eco-friendly stable with education center. So if you're curious to see how it all comes together, then definitely make sure to stay tuned to find out. Hey everyone, my name is DeLadysigner, and as you can tell, our island is really taking shape now, but still we have lots of stuff to do. Now I was taking this bird's eye view of our island and had this idea, like, instead of spreading out all over too much, why not focus on filling up one half of the island first? Like, it might help us avoid having lots of separate habitats and areas like we have right now. Plus, as our Eco Island Park grows, it'll all come together a lot faster, and in general will look a lot better when all these areas are connected to each other. So yeah, I think that's definitely a super smart idea to do. Gosh, I'm just so excited because Milo and Lumi can have their new offspring like any second. Her offspring is imminent. I think this is Lumi. Yes, it is. Offspring is imminent. And I'm just so excited in general to see if she is going to get one cup again, or that she is going to bring in more cups this time. Oh my goodness. I really hope it's going to be a lot more, because that... Oh. That's one. What do we have? A little baby boy this time. Oh, that's so exciting. She's still sitting down, but no, it is only a little boy. Now, I'm so happy that I actually did ask for some more male name suggestions. So I think we are going to call you Forrest. I just really love that name. So thank you all so much for your name suggestions. We have Forrest now in our Eco Island Park. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy with that. Now, I am very curious to see if, like, Lumi and Milo, they are both now elderly, so she just got offspring right now. Wait, this is Milo, but they're both now elderly. So I am very curious to see if we are able to get more offspring, or that we maybe should keep Forest and continue breeding with Forest. I actually have no idea, but we have to wait and see how things will go. Oh my goodness, you are so adorable, and I'm just so happy that we now got a little baby boy in here. He's so cute, isn't he? Now, I was able to raise the ticket prices from like 13 to 20 or something, and I still think the zoo ticket price is good. So I'm not going to change anything. I think that's already a huge step forward. Also, talking about money, someone in the comments actually said that you can ask $2 for an ATM without people being upset about it. Okay, wait, no, I find $2 a little bit too much. So I am going for $1.50 for now, but that is amazing. I never dare to go higher than like 25 cents or something. Now I do wonder, like, maybe we should also raise this to 50 cents. This one is not bringing us any profit, so maybe we should actually raise it. I need to think about that for just a little bit longer. What is the price that you guys always ask for your toilets, if you do ask any money for it? So the guest happiness rating, it's finally a little bit in the green, the thirst. It's still pretty low, but I am already happy that it's not orange anymore. And I was thinking, education. If we go here to the education tab and go to per species and then select this to the contribution, you can actually see how much education the guests are getting per animal. And as you can tell, the axolotl is 4%, and this right over here is the speaker for the axolotl. And I am wondering, like, how can we increase that? Like, if we, for example, would say, I don't know if this is going to help, but what if we have another speaker? Oh, you know what we can do? If we just move the speaker to a little bit further in, maybe this is already going to help, because now guests will walk through and they will hear a little bit of the axolotl. I'm just curious to see if this is going to change anything for that 4% that we are seeing for the axolotl right now. Now, interestingly, the Amur leopard has 6% only. And I hope, because we have like tons of speakers here underneath the ground, there are tons of educational signs, but as you can tell, there are no signs here. I totally forgot to add them on the outside, and there's nothing here in the cave. So in the cave, I'm just going to hide it right over here inside of the rocks for now. And I'm going to add a little speaker as well. So this should all cover the whole cave area, and we just make it a little bit wider to be sure that it will cover everything here. And now let's just make sure that we have a few of the speakers as well right over here at the outside path, because we obviously want to make sure that the education for the Amur leopards is definitely well covered. So I'm just going to hide a lot of these speakers underneath the ground because I don't want anyone to see them. And then we're also going to place a few education signs around here. Now, obviously, the volcano and stuff will be decorated later on. So this is all pretty much temporarily until I know exactly how I want to decorate everything. And also, I do feel like the outside viewing gallery, we should also change that one and maybe make like a little shade area later on. So the guests will not be standing in the burning sunlight constantly when they're looking at the Amur leopards. And we do seem to have this same problem here with the Tasmanian devil. So we do need to make sure that we add a speaker around here and an educational sign just to make sure that all the areas where they're able to reach to see the Tasmanian devil, that it's all covered with some education, because it would be such a waste if they're not being educated about the Tasmanian devils in here. And also, talking about education, I think we totally forgot to add an animal talking point in here, because that is also going to help to bring the educational percentage up a lot for the Tasmanian devil. We do have some educators, but we have 2 educators here that are super busy. We have 1 educator right over here for the Amur leopards, and we have 1 for the rat pandas. And I do feel like this area is just too far away to say like, okay, this educator is going to do 2 animal talks. So I think we're just going to hire another educator in here. And I do really like the idea that we have like these dedicated educators around our whole zoo that just know a lot about one specific animal. So this educator is going to be Taylor, and you are going to work specifically in this Tasmanian devil region. Welcome to our staff team. Going to edit this Tasmanian devil talk in the same work rosters that Habitat and the Research Center and assign it to Taylor. So this is also definitely going to help to bring up the education percentage that we see right over here, because it is pretty low as well for the Tasmanian devil. It's only 5%. So do hope that we are able to bring it up at least as much as the red pandas, which is now 25%, which still feels like pretty low if you ask me. But I actually never look at this, so I'm not really sure if 100% is possible. Definitely something we need to look into. It says average contribution to a guest's overall education level. So the contribution of it doesn't seem like it could be 100%, because that would probably be a little bit weird for the overall education. And here we can see the guest reached in the last 12 months, so you can really tell that a lot more people have been reached with the rat pandas. Galapagos giant tortoise is also 19%, so that's also pretty good, I think. Maybe we could add another one here for the butterflies, and maybe also move the golden poison frog. I think this does show why the monarch has a higher percentage than the blue morpho. It's because of the animal talking point. So that does make sense that the monarch is a little bit lower than that, but I don't really feel like I want to add another animal talk for the other butterfly, so I'm just going to keep it this way. And talking about education points, I think that it will be cool if more guests will be attracted to this area. And since we do have Taylor, a dedicated Tasmanian devil educator, we should just add another talking point at the top layer layers, so we are going to attract more people to this area. I would love that. So we only need to change the month. Now I selected it to June, and if we just look here at the timetable of the educators, I think we should put it on October or something like that. So this is going to be October, and then I'm going to add it to the work roster here of the Tasmanian Devil. So Taylor will be doing both talks here, which hopefully is going to attract more people to this upper layer as well. That will be so nice. I'm just shocked. Taz and Pip are expecting offspring. There was someone in my comments saying like, yeah, I just wasn't able to get any offspring with my Tasmanian Devils. They just died before they could ever give some offspring very soon. I was like, oh my goodness. Please don't tell me that is going to happen with us as well. I would be so devastated if that would happen. So, oh my goodness. I am just so excited about this. So, Pib is expecting offspring due to March year 25. So, that is in 1 year from now. Oh my goodness, I'm just so excited for that. So in quarantine right now, we have our first Przewalski's horses waiting. We have Lucky, Joy, and Spirit, and I will obviously make sure to properly introduce all these beautiful horses with you guys when they arrive in their new habitat that we're going to create for them. Now, what I actually didn't know about these horses is that back in the 1960s, they were actually extinct in the wild because of habitat loss and hunting. They survived in captivity, so today you can only find them in national parks and nature reserves. They unfortunately also still do rely on breeding programs and are very closely being monitored for reproduction and for inbreeding. But thanks to these efforts, they've now been classified as endangered since 2011 with a total population in the wild of around 1900. So hopefully with our breeding efforts in our Eco Island Park, we can help to increase their total population in the wild. That will be just super amazing. Also, a little note in case you're wondering why our conservation credits went down, we had to spend 71 conservation credits on one of the Przewalski's horses. So when I had around $55,000 on our bank account, I thought it was a good time to start working on the Przewalski's horse habitat. So I first started with the shape of the shelter building, and I wanted to make sure that it had one opening in the middle for the Przewalski's horse to get inside of the shelter, and the two sides of the building will have a pathway going through the whole stables building, if we can call it that way. Now, I pretty much knew what I wanted with the shape of the building, but decorating it was really such a struggle because I thought it was a nice idea to use the new Oceania Pack pieces for it, and then especially like the driftwood pieces. But gosh, I really didn't like most of the things that I did to try and decorate the building. Now, doing the roof was pretty doable with the new pieces, although I did make some prototype roof pieces first to see if I wanted to go for a round or a normal angled roof. And I did end up with the round shapes in the end because they did give me a bit more of a barn feeling, and the thatch itself from the roof obviously is very eco-friendly as it is very sustainable roof material. So I absolutely love that. So yeah, I knew I wanted to use the thatch, and I knew I wanted to use some of the driftwood as it just gives me the feeling that they found all these driftwood beams around the island or something. But trying to figure out how I wanted to decorate the walls with the driftwood really was such a struggle that most of the footage I did leave out because it really took ages to create it. But when I finally knew kinda how I wanted the outside to look, I decided to work on the two sides of the building. So I first wanted to keep the building a lot more open, but I changed my mind later on and only chose to keep the sides open where the guests enter the building. But I still wanted to have like open windows to make sure we have a lot of fresh and cool air blowing through the shelter building. Like, especially being on an island and with such a warm climate, I think it's just super nice to make sure that this building is a lot more open. So when I had one side in place with all the windows, it was just a matter of copy pasting it to all other three sides of the buildings to make sure it all was looking the same. Now, I had to be a little bit more creative with the other roof as the Oceania pieces are not really made for a wide building like this, but we have a lot of small thatched roof pieces, so it was pretty easy in the end to create a nice round-shaped roof for this part of the building as well. So the rope pieces from the Oceania pack, like who else have been playing around with them? Like I first really hated them because they are slightly wider than the driftwood pieces, and I really did not like that. But the more I started using them, the more I did start to like them, as they did really look nice on the building, and by rotating them slightly in an angle, you are able to create a really nice look to the pillars. The only downside of these rope pieces is really how much time it takes to get them in place. So yeah, when it comes down to how much time it takes to add all these rope pieces, I still really dislike these rope pieces, honestly. Also, how to decorate the inside of the stables was a bit of a struggle, as I didn't really know how I wanted it to look. And honestly, when I had all the walls and the roof and all the driftwood beams with ropes in place, I did regret a bit not making the inside part where the guests can walk like a little bit wider. But because I already had everything in place, I did decide to not change it anymore, even though I still do really feel like it's a little bit too narrow and it will cause some bottlenecks most likely. So yeah, not entirely sure. I might get back to it later on, or just think about how we can change this to make it work a little bit better. Now for the fences here, I did look up a little bit inspiration online for Przewalski's horses habitat and did notice realistically guests are not able to get super close to these animals. So realistically, there would have been more space in between the chain link fences and the horses, but it is what it is, I guess. But that is the reason why I did close the fences off more on the inside instead of keeping it open, because at the end of the day, these are not the same horses as domestic horses. And on the floor of the barn, we will simply be putting down a lot of these wooden log floorings and obviously some hay beddings for the horses to chill and relax. So the fences around the habitat, I wanted to be a little bit more natural as well, to again give that feeling that we found all these beams on the island or something. So that's why I did use the beams from the Africa pack, as they feel a lot more rough and natural, if you can call it that way. And to make it a little bit more realistic, I decided to create an extra natural boundary in between the fences and the horses with a lot of the aquatic rocks, so the horses won't get too close to the guests who are looking at them behind these fences. And I do really like how this is looking, honestly. And since we are cheating a lot in the zoo anyways with the elephant grass, for this habitat I again used the elephant grass at areas where I didn't want to add more of these wooden fences. And it also came in very handy for the area that is on the edge of the volcano, as I am still not entirely sure how I want to decorate like all the path that we have around the volcano and the foliage and the rockwork on the volcano itself. So yeah, I'm very happy that the elephant grass is a thing, so we can keep a lot of the boundaries very natural and good looking, in my opinion. Now first, I did have plans for this area to create a separate education center, but I actually wanted it to be in between the Przewalski's horse habitat and the butterfly garden, but in the end I didn't have that much space left on this side, so I thought to maybe move it to the other side of the horse habitat. But in the end, I did skip that idea for now to create an educational area with a viewing dome entrance, as I wasn't quite sure how I wanted it all to look. So we will probably get back still to create some kind of educational area separately for the habitat as soon as I know how I want it to look. But I doubt we will be adding a viewing dome entrance here, or like viewing domes in general, because the more I added to the habitat, the more I felt like we don't really need the viewing domes, and also just really like the very open and grassy vibe of the habitat. And I think viewing domes in general will just hurt that beautiful view too much. And let's be honest here, in real life zoos, you also don't see these viewing domes in every habitat, right? So yeah, I think we can totally get away with this. So yeah, when I had everything in place of the fences and the rocks around the habitat, it was time to fill up the whole habitat with a lot more rocks, giving it a little bit of a feeling that these rocks were already there on the island and they had to work around it, obviously. And I did the same with the trees. Like in general, this area on the island was a bit more open and spacious, so perfect for Przewalski's horse habitat, but they did have to work around the rocks and the trees because it would obviously be super bad cutting down these beautiful trees and stuff. And while I was building, at some point I did realize that we have these super cute statues in the conservation pack of the horses, and I absolutely loved using them around this habitat. They blend in so nicely with the rocks and the tropical foliage, so I'm just super excited about these statues and how everything just came together around the habitat. Super happy with the end result. Showing right away my most favorite spot of the habitat, or at least one of the views. Like, I am just such a fan of these cute little statues here. They work so well with the whole environment. Just look at that little face. It's not even a real horse, and I just absolutely love it already. And right over here, you have some really nice viewings here, also because this is like all part of the volcano and like all the grass and the flowers, and it's like tropical but also very open. And yeah, I'm just a huge fan of how this is looking. And right over here then we have some more statues. Just look how adorable. We have the first horse arriving. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Spirit, and Spirit was found in Mongolia when he was a young and adventurous Przewalski's horse exploring the open plains, and at some point he got tangled in like this thorny bush and couldn't break free for days. So local wildlife heroes heard his cry and they carefully set him loose and were able to take him to a rescue center where they took care of him, and they named him Spirit because he had the heart of a warrior. Spirit is such a very brave and curious horse, so he's always the first to check out like new things when something exciting happens around the habitat, and he's just a beautiful Przewalski's horse. And then right over here we have the beautiful female horse called Lucky, and Lucky's story begins in the remote wilderness of Kazakhstan. She faced a challenging time when she got stuck in a deep ditch, but luckily a group of nature protectors spotted her and worked tirelessly to free her, and they named her Lucky because she was so fortunate to have their help. So Lucky is a very beloved and grateful horse, and she often runs and plays with her harem group, showing her appreciation for the second chance she was given. And then right over here we have the beautiful female Przewalski's horse, Joy. Now Joy's story comes from the distant lands of China. She was just a young foal when she got separated from her family. It was a little bit scary for her to be all alone, but some caring people found her and made sure she was brought to a rescue center, and they named her Joy as she was so happy when people found her. And Joy is a gentle but very friendly horse. And what is also very interesting to mention is, well, these horses are endangered because they're home-strung due to farming and development on these lands. But these horses are very special because they are one of the few wild horses left in the wild. They're tough and they can even survive in cold and snowy places. And a little fun fact, these horses have a cool stripe on their back just like a donkey, making them very unique among horses. Oh my goodness, I actually thought that I totally missed out on Pip giving birth to her first offspring, but it turns out she was expecting offspring in March 25. Her offspring is constantly imminent right over here. And I just checked, where was that? The stud book. And if you go here, you can actually see that she got 2 little baby girls, but they're not in here. They're not in this habitat. She did not give offspring to any of them. They're not in here. They're not in my zoo overview. So I am super afraid and super worried that her offspring is just being bugged, unless she is now claimed by Pip. Did you guys actually know that? The breeding status is claimed by Pip? Wait, what? Did these little ones just appear? What? Wait, what? There's a tree. But did she just give offspring? Oh my goodness, I cannot see it, but it looks like there are 2 little ones in here. You kidding me? Breeding status, it was claimed by... Oh wow, I'm just so speechless because I've never seen anything like this before. But we have 2 little ones in here. You kidding me? Oh, I'm so happy that it did work out. Not sure when it happened, but this is little Angel. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for all the name suggestions. So we have Angel and Tiggy, and this is little Angel trying to hit that huge Redmond Ivan. That is so adorable. Oh my my goodness. So this is little Angel, and I totally missed out on her getting out of the burrow, but she is. And Tiggy is still inside of the burrow with her mom, Pib. But look at how adorable. I'm just melting here. She is so freaking cute. It's so adorable. They're so freaking tiny. Oh my goodness. I am so in love with these Tasmanian devil joeys. They're so cute. Okay, so now back to the Przewalski's horse habitat, because this is where I stopped the tour because one of the horses entered the habitat. But these statues are just so amazing. Really do love it. Still not entirely sure, like as you can tell, this one has been there since the start almost, but still not entirely sure how I want to integrate this. If there's like a statue that fits here, I'm not sure. Maybe that horse statue would fit on top of there. We should look into that later on. This, oh man, I'm such a fan with the natural path. It looks so good, doesn't it? Like especially when you hide the curbs, obviously. You can really create a wider looking path, even though it's not maybe that wide, and it just looks so nice. So I did move the solar panel that was right over here next to the exhibit, and that one is now right over here. I'm not entirely happy with them, but it needs to function as well. And then we have this beautiful view into the habitat. We have a keyboard here for the Przewalski's horse to play with, and we have a beautiful view here to the sea, which I absolutely love. And then this is the narrow part that I was talking about. So right now we do have some kind of education center right over here with tons of billboards, which you can download from my Discord server as always. We have the FAFM members, Przewalski's horse donators in this case. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Really do appreciate it. And the same goes for you guys all. Really thank you all so much for supporting the channel. And then here we have, oh, you are inside. That's amazing. We have the, I don't know if you can call this a stables if there's not that much decorated. Actually, now that I do see the size of the horses, I feel like maybe we can actually make this a little bit wider. So if you just move in the walls a little bit, maybe we can then make this path a little bit wider as well. Why are you guys glitching through? Oh, I need to fix that real quick. But I think then if this is a little bit wider, this may be a little bit more narrow, and maybe we can like split this off to really create like a stable feeling. I think this is definitely a very nice looking horse stables then. Added the signs here again. Oh, look at you. Oh, I love it. It's so cute when they eat from this scarecrow. Hi. Don't tell me that is Spirit. Okay, oh well, they're all here. This is Spirit coming here to see what is going on. Look at them all eating from the scarecrow. Oh, I did not know the scarecrow would do that. Oh, I already thought like what a weird hat, but now it makes sense. It's like fruit, and this horse just ate it. Oh my goodness, this is just so amazing. So we have a beautiful view here, but obviously there's nothing still there. So I was actually thinking to maybe have like an educational center right over here, and the first thought was to have like toilets and like this viewing dome entrance here. But then I was like, you know, I see this beautiful field here. I don't want to ruin it with viewing domes. I just don't feel like it would fit in here. So I hope you guys agree with me. Let me know in the comments down below. But like this beautiful open field, I think should not be heard with any of these viewing domes. Even though I love the look of it, I don't know. Oh yes, and this part, obviously we still need to decorate this, but this is obviously the volcanoes. I do think that we're going to give like these viewing galleries a little shelter or anything, or like a shade section, I mean. So like these guests are not standing here in the burning sunlight. I think that will work super well. But it's a very nice viewing here as well into the whole Przewalski's horse habitat. You can get a really nice angle here from pretty much all sides. So I think it works super well to have a viewing gallery right over here. I did add a sign here and donation boxes, and there are pretty much donation boxes and signs everywhere around here. So it should all work properly, and we we are earning quite some money here, so that is just amazing. And right over here we have Amy, and Amy is going to take care of the Przewalski's horses and is hopefully able to clean this habitat all by herself. And if not, then we will definitely make sure to hire another keeper to help her with that. And all by himself, we have Enrique here waiting to do the Przewalski's horse animal talk, but there is absolutely no one here. I really hope that is going to change before you are going to start your talk. But nonetheless, welcome Enrique to our staff team in our Eco Island Park. And talking about our staff, I did train all the keepers right over here because some of them do have a high workload, and I think it's just a very smart thing to do to train all our keepers in our zoo. And the same goes for the educators. I made sure that all the educators are being trained, and as soon as you guys are all trained, I do hope that we won't have these high workload problems anymore with you all. And as Amanda was all by herself, she did had a high workload at some point, so I did make sure to train her as well. And we did hire Jessica. So Jessica is also hopefully able to enjoy her stay at her staff team, but you don't look super happy. Hopefully that is going to change, but yes. Welcome to our staff team, Jessica. Please cheer up a little bit because, oh, okay, there you go. That's a lot better. Oh, you're just tired, I guess. Welcome to our staff team, Jessica. And remember, if you want any staff members to be named after you, make sure to share your first name with me in the comments down below. Now, I totally forgot in the previous episode to add some webcams, so I did add a few here at the Amur leopard habitat. So I have one inside right over here, and there's one here at the outside with a really cool view here on the Amur leopard. And now that we're here, I actually do want to check upon Diego and Shira because how are they doing regarding offspring? We have Shira right over here. And if we go to compare mates, we have Shira and Diego. They have a 62% chance of offspring, so it's not like super high. We have the 30% fertility bonus already. Species fertility, each animal species has its own fertility likelihood. This value is immutable, which means the species fertility chance won't change over time, and we really have to be a little bit more lucky here to see offspring with Diego and Shira in our zoo. And we also have some webcams right over here. So this one is looking at the entrance of the shelter building of the Przewalski's horse. And we have one on each side right over here where the guests can see the Przewalski's horse when they are inside of the shelter. And we have one more here in the tree on the other side of the Przewalski's horse habitat. And this is hopefully going to help as well for a little bit of marketing rating in our zoo. Oh, look at little Tiggy running around in her habitat. They're just so tiny, aren't they? Oh, they're so incredible. My goodness, these animals are definitely one of those animals I really didn't know I would love so much. And thanks to Planet Zoo, I now got to know the Tasmanian devil. Do you guys have the same with an animal in the game that you didn't know of before you saw them in the game and now you're like, oh my gosh, I just love these guys so much? Let me know if you have any examples of that as well in the comments down below. I would love to read it. So now with Spirit, Lucky and Joy all in our zoo, we hopefully will be seeing some adorable foals in the next episode, and I really would love to have some male and female name suggestions for their offspring. So if you have any, then please do let me know in the comments down below, and let me know your thoughts about this new Eco Island Park episode as well. And also let me know what animal you would like to see in the next episode of our series. Make sure to leave a like at this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe of course if you haven't already. And yeah, I just really do hope to see you guys all in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys!